This is the African News Update on top accolade news. The headlines. President Ruto warns of evolving terror tactics. Burundi ruling party sweeps all parliamentary seats. Zimbabwe targets growing DRC markets for steel and coal exports. EU puts Kenya on money laundering watch lists. We'll start with a focus in politics. President Ruto warns of evolving terror tactics. President William Ruto has reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to the global fight against terrorism, highlighting recent conviction in the Garissa University and DusitD2 terror cases as proof of progress. Speaking in Mombasa at the close of the 23rd Commonwealth Health of Prosecuting Agencies Conference, Ruto warned that terrorism remains a serious and evolving transnational threat. He stressed the need for enhanced international intelligence sharing, citing terror financing links to banks in Kenya, Somalia, and South Africa.
Terrorism, one of the most dangerous forms of transnational organized crime, continues to pose a persistent and evolving threat to our nation and region. Kenya has endured several devastating attacks, including the 1998 United States Embassy bombing in Nairobi, the 2013 Westgate Mall siege, as well as the 2015 Garissa University and the 2019 DusitD2 complex attacks. However, through heightened vigilance, enhanced intelligence, and strengthened international cooperation, Kenya has made notable progress in bringing perpetrators to justice.
The president also underscored the growing use of cryptocurrencies and encrypted apps by criminal networks and the call for harmonized law, joint investigation, and asset forfeiture to dismantle such threats. Kenya's Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has pursued 30 money laundering cases in 3 years, and the country is strengthening partnership to confront organized crime. Still in politics, Burundi ruling party sweeps all parliamentary seats. Burundi's ruling CNDD-FDD party has won all 100 parliamentary seats in last week's election, securing over 96% of votes across provinces according to provisional results announced by the Electoral Commission. The opposition condemned the poll as rigged, with the main parties denouncing it as a blow to democracy. Human Rights Watch criticized the election for suppressing meaningful opposition amid reports of intimidation and restricted freedoms. Meanwhile, the African Union praised the vote as peaceful despite concerns from observers. The Electoral Commission also announced the creation of 11 additional parliamentary seats to address ethnic representation, bringing the total to 111 MPs. Shifting focus to economy, Zimbabwe targets growing DRC markets for steel and coal exports. Zimbabwe is poised to boost exports of steel and coal to the Democratic Republic of Congo, capitalizing on growing demand and regional trade opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area, experts said during the 2025 DRC Mining Week. Highlighting Zimbabwe's Mahise steel plant, the largest in the region, and expanding coal production, they called for stronger trade ties and the use of strategic trade corridors like the Lobito corridor to supply the DRC's industries. Zimbabwean companies at the expo showcase mining and agricultural products, while investor interest in bilateral cooperation signals promising growth for both countries' mining sector. Still in economy, EU puts Kenya on money laundering watch lists. Kenya has been added to the European Union's money laundering watch list following its 2024 greylisting by the Financial Action Task Force. The European Commission urged member states, including Germany, France, and the Netherlands, to exercise heightened scrutiny in financial transactions involving Kenya, citing weak anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing measures. Key concerns include the lack of a clear prosecution plan for money laundering offenses, inadequate oversight of virtual asset service providers, and gaps in beneficial ownership data. Experts warn this development could raise borrowing costs, limit global financial access, and threaten Kenya's ambition as a regional financial hub. The Central Bank of Kenya is now working to introduce stronger regulation for digital assets to align with global standards. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, Egypt blocks pro-Gaza march. Egyptian authorities have blocked dozens of international activists from participating in a planned solidarity march to the Gaza border, deporting many before they could reach the Sinai Peninsula. The march, organized to pressure Israel to lift its blockade and allow humanitarian aid into Gaza, aimed to draw global attention to the worsening crisis in the territory. Organizers said the participants were denied entry despite attempts to coordinate with Egyptian embassies, while Egypt insists the march lacked proper authorization and posed a national security risk. The diplomatic standoff has sparked concerns in countries whose citizens were detained or deported, including France, Algeria, and Germany. Israel, which has sealed the Rafah crossing since May 2024, praised Egypt's action and labeled the activists as jihadists. The incident comes as aid organization warn of looming famine in Gaza, where over 52,000 people have been killed since the war began. Moving to conflicts. SADC begins final withdrawal of troops from eastern DRC. The Southern African Development Community has begun the final phase of withdrawing its peacekeeping troops from Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, marking the end of the SAMI-DRC mission launched in May 2023. Forces from South Africa, Malawi, and Tanzania are exiting via Tanzania, along with equipment and personnel. SADC ended the mission's mandate in March and began the withdrawal in April. Despite the exit, the bloc reaffirmed its commitment to regional peace and pledged continued diplomatic engagement with the DRC and partners. The pullout comes amid escalating violence from M23 rebels accused of being backed by Rwanda, which has claimed thousands of lives and displaced millions in North and South Kivu provinces. Moving to entertainment. Fela Kuti's Zombie album inducted into 2025 Grammy Hall of Fame. The late Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti has been honored with induction into the 2025 Grammy Hall of Fame for his iconic 1976 album Zombie. The Recording Academy recognized the album's lasting cultural and historical impact, celebrating its bold critique of Nigeria's military regime. Fela's eldest son, Femi Kuti, accepted the award on behalf of the family, describing it as a tribute to their father's enduring legacy that continues to inspire and unite people worldwide. Zombie joins a prestigious list of timeless recordings, cementing Fela's place as a global musical and political icon. Now in sports, Stanley Hachiwa named new referees manager by Football Association of Zambia. The Football Association of Zambia has appointed retired FIFA referee Stanley Hachiwa as the new referees manager, replacing Derek Kafuli, who served in the role since February 2024. FA's General Secretary Ruben Kamanga praised Hachiwa's extensive experience as a former FIFA referee and instructor, emphasizing the importance of strong leadership in refereeing for the growth of Zambian football. Kamanga assured Hachiwa of full support from the association as it takes on the critical role, effective immediately. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and development. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ojoarumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.